everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's Tuesday tip video. It is a very, very special video today. I have been asked by many of you, you wanted to see a tour of my craft room and you wanted me to share a little bit about how I built it. I am very excited to share with you my space. I've had a chance to live with it, work in it for several months now, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I had that opportunity to move things around and really feel like I had nailed down my space, if you know what I mean. So I'm here to talk to you today about my space, where I got it, and how it works. So everything, just about everything in my stamp room came from a wonderful place called the Container Store. Now, I have a Container Store that's only about 20 minutes away, and I was very blessed to be able to use their services because they created the most amazing room for me. One of the best perks about the Container Store is that you get to work with a designer. I had an incredible designer. Her name is Yvonne. I'm sure she's watching this video, so love you, girl. She helped me design my space. She had so much fun doing it. Well, we both did. It was really a lot of fun. I simply took the measurements in and she designed a great space. And I said, well, can we move this here? And can we put that there? And she's like, yep. And we just moved everything around until we got it exactly the way I needed it. So the Container Store does work with craft rooms. This whole system, the system I created, is called ELFA. ELFA. And most of the time when you see it in the Container Store, it is used for closets. But it can also be used in your pantry. It can be used in your craft room. It can be used in a closet. It can be used in a lot of different ways. Oh, it can be used in a garage too. My husband's very jealous of my room and now wants to redo his garage with Elfa. But I cannot recommend this stuff highly enough. The quality of their products was phenomenal. And I really can tell this is going to be a product that's going to last me a long, long time. That was important to me. I also really liked the cost. It was a lot more affordable than the other option that was on my plate, which was purchasing from IKEA. I do love my previous craft room from IKEA. In fact, if you're interested in that, I'll put the link up there at the top of the screen if you want to check out my IKEA craft room from my previous home. But the problem was IKEA was 3 hours away and IKEA didn't have the products I needed. At the time I created my stamp room, we were in the middle of a pandemic and that meant a lot of products were very, very difficult to come by. A lot of people were remodeling, including me. And with one click of a button, she said, there, we've just ordered everything that you needed. It took about a week for it all to come into the store. They helped load it all up into our truck and then we were on our way and ready to start building. So I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to start with this wall behind me. I think this is probably the one wall that people are very, very curious about. This is called a pegboard. I say pegboard, but it's actually metal. It's a very nice coated metal. I think it looks really nice too. And the one thing I got to tell you I love about this, and I think you figured this out, is all the shelves, they're all adjustable. I can move these things around. You can see it just kind of lifts up and out. There we go. So I can move these around to wherever I want. And let me tell you, I have moved them a lot. It really is great to have that option or just move things around. And what the other nice thing about these shelves that I wanted to point out is that you can have a shelf that has a lip on it. So anything you don't want to fall off, for example, ribbon, right? If you want to have your ribbon up there, you don't want that rolling off the edge. But they do also have shelves. It looks a lot like this, but it's got a little bracket here. Then it can be an actual shelf, so you could easily slide things right off of it. So Container Store has two different types of shelves. Again, it's that nice heavy metal. I'm not worried about this breaking or any of this paint chipping. It's gorgeous. These shelves hold everything. I'm telling you, I've got my clear blocks. I can fit my mini machine up there. I've got stamp sets. Oh, here's another thing. You can see we've got these great little hanging containers. And again, they just clip, just 3 little clips, 4 little clips, and they just go right on there, move them around anywhere you need. So they have containers like this. And then let me show you with this one. There's also containers that are a little bit flatter. And look at that. My Stampin' Dimensionals fit perfect. Now I could also hang these on the wall. Don't ask me why. I decided to just go ahead and put them on a shelf. But again, it's all about options, right? And I love that the Container Store gave me so many great options with this. I'm going to bring in a photo so that you can see up above my pegboard, I actually put shelves. And in those fabulous little blue magazine holders are actually all my excess cardstock. So I can easily have those at my fingertips. Those have been wonderful. And of course, adding that burst of color to my stamp room makes me very happy. It's my favorite color in the whole wide world. Again, I had mentioned the shelves that have the lip on it. That held my paper cutter and my Stamparatus perfectly. So it's right there at my fingertips. Now, this peg wall is actually the wall that I use when I'm shooting my videos. So right over here, this is where I shoot my videos. So the truth comes out. I really don't have a wood desk. It's just a wonderful piece of vinyl that I have laid there on my table. So, and I did that mainly because I didn't want to get any glare from the white table. And so, yeah, it was just a great way to be able to have a nice working space. And it was just a simple little photography vinyl mat. So that worked well. You can see right behind that is my stand that holds my phone when I shoot my videos. And then those two lights that are hanging off the side. Oh my gosh, I love these. They are called Loom Cube. And they were wonderful lights. I think I picked up both of them, definitely under $100. And they have a lot of really great adjustments on it. I can adjust it warmer or cooler. I can adjust brighter or lighter. And then of course those arms, I don't know if you can quite see it there, but they can move around. I have so much flexibility, and the lights themselves also twist. So yeah, a lot of flexibility. So if you're one that is looking for good lighting in your stamp room, Loom Cube, I'm telling you, they are amazing. I do also want to point out this particular desk did not come from the Container Store. This was something that I had picked up before I started designing my studio. But I got this desk in particular because it was counter height. When I shoot my videos, I wanted that to be a very tall counter. I personally like to stand when I stamp, so that desk was absolutely perfect for me. You also see it's really quite big. I do have a lot of space here, and I love that. All right, so now we're going to rotate around my room, and you can kind of start to see how I've built my shelves and my drawers and things behind these shelves up here. Again, I can move them. I can decide how deep I want the shelves to be. So they've been set for the things that I have. See, I've got my stamps, and those are on those same shelves that I mentioned earlier. I was able to just fit those right on there. And I've got a paper cutter. That's my big monster paper cutter because, you know, us paper crafters, we need the big guns, right? My Simply Scored board. Over here, of course, my storage for my ink pads, my markers, and my Stampin' Blends. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. These containers up here, these white containers, these also came from the Container Store, and they are called Smart Storage. Got to tell you a few things what I loved about these. First of all, really heavy duty plastic. I don't have any worry about them breaking or cracking. They're heavy duty. The lids and the boxes come separately. So if you're one that you just don't need lids, that's great. But I got to tell you what I love about the lid. Can you see it's also a tray? And you know, when you're paper crafting, you might have some dies or you've got your Stampin' Blends out. You want to keep everything together. It's great to use the lids as a tray. So really a fabulous product. I loved it. You can see here on the side, I use some of my label dies and then just printed out on some address labels. And I marked what everything is so that I can easily find it. They are really great, easy to use, easy to move around, and of course, easy to stack. All right, so just a little closer view of those great shelves that I talked about that I was able to fit my stamp sets on the end. So I did buy some bookends, and they matched really well, so they were fun. Just to make sure everything kind of stays in place. I didn't want the stamp sets falling off the shelves. I can keep my ink pads or ink refill storage here. I used another one of those Smart Store storage containers. This is like the little baby one. And I keep all my embellishments in there. So those are always at my fingertips. Then I got the medium size storage, holds my 6x6 paper perfectly. I love it. Let me go ahead and flip that around so that you can see this is the name of the product. So Smart Store Compacts. And like I said, they have all different sizes. I'm going to show you several because I have used them for so many things in my craft room. So I mentioned my storage for my ink pads, my markers, and my Stampin' Blends. Now, all of these actually came from Stampin' Up. This is not the kind of thing that they carry at the Container Store, but that was okay because it's nice white along with everything else in my room. So it looks really, really eye-pleasing, right? To have all of that there. So yeah, through my online store, you can get storage for your Stampin' Blends, storage for your ink pads and your markers. The ink pads and markers are all in one, so that's really nice and convenient. And these you can stack any way you want. They're all individual. So if you need them to go up taller, you can. If you only have a little bitty short shelf space, you can do that too. So a lot of flexibility with those. All right, so now we're going to move down my counter a little bit more. And this is my actual working space. This is my creative space right here. So you can see I've got another big pegboard. This is actually 4 because they come, I think I'm going to say they're about 26 inches down. If you go to the Container Store website, you're going to find them, and they have all different sizes and lengths. So you're going to want to find the one that works best for your room. But we ended up putting 4 of these, and they all fit. You notice it's just a track, and these just clip right into the track. It's very easy. Like I said, you can decide where you want things to go. I've got more of my shelves. I've got more of those little containers. I wanted to show you this. I thought I'd try something. I wanted to bring some more of this Tiffany blue color into my stamp room. I decided to try to spray paint one of the containers. So easy. So now that I know that it works, I tried it with just one. And so now I'm very excited. I'm going to do that with all of these. Again, just to get that pop of color, that burst of, just something bright instead of all this white. So I just want to let you know it's amazing what you can do with a can of spray paint. You can see I'm able to keep my adhesives right here low at my fingertips, easy for me to grab things. My blending brushes, bone folders, things like that. And then check these out. You can also get all these different kinds of hooks. They have a lot of different ones that'll do different things. It was great. I can hang up my scissors. No more putting them in a container, where the tips of them can get bent up. We don't like that. Having them hanging is going to protect my scissors, keep them nice and pristine, nice and sharp. So we love that. I think you can see here too that my counter here is counter height. Keep in mind that when you go through the Container Store and you design this, you get to decide where you want the height of that to be. That was a real blessing for me because, if you're taller or if you're shorter, you can design this and have it sit right where you want it. But again, like I said before, I prefer to stand when I stamp. I stamp better that way. And so I do have this counter, and it goes all the way down, all right, all the way across my room. I am going to go ahead and fill you in on this because this was going to be a working table, all right? So I knew I would be die cutting or leaning on it and things like that. I knew I was going to get a workout. We did do some extra support under here. Again, Yvonne was great. And if you go through the Container Store and work with their designer, I'm telling you, they're going to take great care of you. Just communicate with them what you want to do. So when I told her, listen, this has to be really, really strong, really sturdy, she said, we're going to add some extra support brackets. So there are some extra triangle brackets underneath there. And let me tell you, this thing, it's strong. It's not going anywhere. All right, so we're going to move down a little bit more. And so there's a little bit more of just my storage and different things that I keep in those wonderful little containers. You know what? This is a good time for me to say this. When I went to the Container Store, I bought a ton of these, just a ton. And the Container Store had a wonderful refund policy. I just brought back what I didn't need. I thought it was probably better to order more than what I needed and return what I don't need than to get home and you're trying to put all this together and go, shoot, I need one more of those little containers, or oh, I should have gotten more of these and fewer of those. Container Store was amazing in taking it back. Their refund policy was off the charts. Great customer service. So I loved that. And yeah, they saw me a lot because I was making all kinds of changes. Here's the thing, I didn't know what I needed until I really got in here and started putting things away. So this one here, again, probably one of my favorite things in the room. These are the shells that have the lip on it. And look at how well it holds my clear blocks. I have a lot of clear blocks. I'm a bit of a clear block snob, I know. But when I'm working, many times I'm working on a lot of different projects and I like to have a lot of clear blocks as I do that. But they fit perfect here. Remember, all these shells, I got to adjust it however I wanted, and I was able to fit those there just right. And of course, punches. We love our punches. Now, this one has the shelf where there's no lip. It kind of looks like maybe this side has a lip, but you know what? It doesn't work that way. So there are shelves that are for the lip, and then there are shelves that are meant to just be shelves. And I tell you that because I got myself confused going, oh yeah, I want this. Well, guess what? This did not go on the shelf this direction. It has to be like this. And but this shelf was the perfect size for my punches. Look at that. Everything right there at my fingertips. The images, these are the Stampin' Up! Punches, of course, and the images are right there on the edge. Grab it. I'm ready to go. All right, I'm going to pop a picture into my video because I want to show you the drawer unit that I have here from Container Store. Again, this is another one of those great options. I can mix and match. I can choose different size drawers. For myself as a paper crafter, I wanted some more narrow drawers. I don't like to overload a drawer with a lot of products that I have to dig through, so I chose the more narrow ones. I chose a drawer front. That is totally optional. So that white with the little silver knob on it, you don't have to have that. Underneath it, though, is a very nice, like a wooden bracket that goes around it. So it can look really, really nice. But what's going to happen if you don't do the drawer fronts is that you're going to see that wire basket bracket. But I do encourage you to go over to the Container Store and check that out because it gives you some options. Especially, it's going to come in handy when you're looking at your budget and what you can afford and what you're willing to give up. So that is something that your designer at the Container Store can help you with. Here I'm going to open up one of my drawers and you can see my ribbon storage. Yep, this is where I store all my ribbon. And do you see this plastic insert? I hope that you can kind of see that there. And this is also something I was able to get from the Container Store, very inexpensive little insert. And it allowed me to separate the things in my drawer. Now here, of course, you see where I used it on ribbon, but I used it in many of my other drawers too, just to use those compartments. They're really, really handy. All right, now in this photo, you see that I've put some dividers into the drawers, and they're kind of these wire dividers. And this, again, has been one of those awesome things. When you buy these, they come in a 2-pack. And so you can see I was able to split up my heat embossing drawer and kind of keep everything separate. So it's not just all flying around in there. Everything kind of has its own space. And I was really, really impressed with these dividers. You can get them to go horizontal or vertical. So you do have options there as well in how you want to divide up your drawers. A couple more drawers that I have. This is one you can see I just put a divider down the center. This is my infamous white and vanilla scrap drawer. I have a lot of white and vanilla scrap. And I do always go to this drawer first and find a piece of cardstock that might work for me before I cut into a brand new piece. I'm frugal that way. You guys know that. Now this next drawer, this is my flashcard storage. And there you go. Do you see? This time I took the dividers and I went landscape with it. All right, we're going to swing around now. And I was just going to show you real quick. There's my computer area. You see I have another Loom Cube light there. And I wanted to show you this. This is kind of interesting. So do you see my shelves there on the right? Most people probably would have taken those all the way down, but you know what? We left that open because now my desk chair can kind of swing around and I have a little place. It's a very narrow shelf, but it does give me a little extra space there to maybe jot down measurements for tutorials, things like that. More shelves, more of those fabulous white boxes that I love. Every stamp room needs a coffee bar. Don't you agree? That blue thing underneath there, you know what? That's an aerobic platform. I can guarantee you that thing's never seen the light of day. But let me go ahead and swing back around. I want to show you one more cool thing about my desk. I'm trying really hard to be a little bit smarter about my health. And so I was debating whether I wanted a standing computer desk or a sitting computer desk. Well, Mr. Awesome was able to give me the best of both worlds, and I love that. This is an adjustable desk. But what's interesting about it, do you notice that the countertop of it matches what I bought from the Container Store? That's because we bought just a desk top, all right, just that. And the legs that adjust up and down, well, that is something that we bought extra. So just the legs. And you see, with just a touch of a button, I can now stand to be at my computer. But if I want to sit, I simply just drop it back down. It's totally adjustable to exactly where I need it. Again, trying to be a little bit smarter and stand more often than I sit. All right, tilting this camera down so you can see. This is a regular desk height desk. Underneath here is that paper storage. I'll show you that in a minute. And so that's what's kind of supporting this countertop. And you can see I've got a place to do my paper cutting. I have a place to do my die cutting. These containers right here hold all of my dies and my cutting platforms and plates and things. So it's really nice, again, to have everything right here. So you notice I'm able to come over here. This is where I can do cutting and die cutting, but then I can just step back one and I'm at my desk where I can do all of my stamping. So I absolutely love this. This shelf here in between, and I'll show you what's on the other side here in just a second. But this was just another little narrow shelf, and then we bought some legs for it, just so I could get this height. First of all, it worked better with the room because now the height is a little more level with the counter height. This is down desk level, sitting level, but this is counter level. But yeah, it just kind of gave me an opportunity to get this lifted. Now I have this space underneath to work. So that was really nice. And like I said, these were just some of the shelves from the Container Store. I want to point out, because I don't think I've said it yet, I chose a gray countertop or desktop. They had options. I believe they had white. Well, I know they had white. And then they had, I think, kind of a dark wood grain. I ended up going with the gray because I was very concerned about white in a stamp room. You guys know what I'm talking about. I will tell you, just as I've worked with the gray, one of the things I deal with is, as I like to call them, adhesive boogers. You guys know when you get that, you got some adhesive on, even on your grid paper, and then you go and you lay one of your clear blocks on it, things like that. It happens, right? Well, it also can happen and get on my desk. And it was a lot easier to clean when it was just here on the gray, where if it were white, I think I'd probably have to be cleaning a lot because it would bother me that I'd have these little gray adhesive ickies on there. So I decided to go with the gray, and it worked best just, again, in my stamp room. But just think about that before you go all white. All right, I mentioned the drawers, and so I want to kind of show these to you. So this is still part of the Alpha system, and there's one of those great dividers. So I have my white card bases. I like to have my card bases pre-cut. I've also got my envelopes here. And then there are the same for the Very Vanilla. So I have both sides of my card bases always ready to go. So this is one of my favorite drawers. Again, you notice it's a narrow one. All right, so now we're down here on the floor again, but I wanted to show you the drawer system that we designed. So you can see these, a lot of times these are used in pantries, but Yvonne and I got to talking, and I was sharing with her, how am I going to do my paper storage? Because I didn't want a file cabinet. I wanted something else. And of course, I wanted everything to match. And I got to looking at these big, deep drawers, and I thought, I wonder if this is going to work. Let me show you what we did. So I found these tall dividers, and I don't probably, I'm going to say a good 7 or 8 inches deep. And I was able to put those dividers in here and do hanging folders. And look at that. Yeah, I am so excited to be able to just get to my paper just like that. All of my colors are here. And down inside here, this is where I keep my scrap. I just have Ziploc bags. I know I'm so fancy. Ziploc bags, and that's where I keep my scraps. But everything is there. Now I have 3 of these drawers. So that's my neutrals and my brights. And then we come down here. There's my in colors and my neutrals. I think I said neutrals. Forgive me. That was just brights and my white, vanilla, and black. There's my neutrals and in colors. I'm going to point this little spot out. This is where my puppy loves to sleep. That's so funny. This drawer right here then has another 2 color families. So my subtles and my regals. And then this drawer makes me so happy. Look at that. That is my 12 by 12 paper. Let me pull this out. So that's what I was able to do. Of course, I don't have file folders that are big enough for that. But what I have done, we have a lot of chipboard that comes inside a lot of our glimmer paper and specialty paper. I save that, and that can just tuck right in there. That gives that paper stability. Now it's not going to flop around because that would be bad. We don't want destroyed designer series paper, but you can see all of my paper is in a separate folder. Everything is there. I can see everything clear as day. It is wonderful. Now you notice on this side, I don't have that little drawer, right? So I have 2 big drawers. This side over here have the small one and 2 big drawers, okay? So this one I had to move down so that I could adjust for that 12 by 12 paper. I was so excited about that. And you see, I think you can see, it's just, I mean, I have just, I'm going to say probably about 3 inches right there. So yeah, but these you can see there's different levels. You can just move these up and down to create the size drawer units that you need. It's awesome, you guys. This space here is my working desk. You remember I showed you the computer desk. There's not a lot of room to work. So this is kind of my space where I work, maybe when I'm writing inside my cards and addressing them, things like that. It was really nice to have a space that I could use just for that. And remember, there's that shelf that goes down the middle. So you can see this is just on the opposite side of where my paper storage was. But it was great to have this nice area to work with. Again, Yvonne helped me design this and create a desk that was just perfect for my room. All right, so let me show you my die storage because I love this. This is, you know, a little bit bigger box. And if you guys have followed me, you might have seen I like to get magnet sheets. These are vent covers, actually. And I cut them down and I can store my dies on them. And it's wonderful. But look, they fit perfect in here. This cardboard, guys, this is the back of my designer series paper. I hope you guys don't throw that away because I find so many good uses for it. But I have them broken down. So there's masculine. So I've got all my masculine sets there. Here's all my word sets. So any of my any of my dies, I should say, that have words, they sit right in here. Boxes, animals, seasonal, shapes, nature, random, because you know everyone needs a random, like you don't know where it goes. Flowers, we have lots of those, don't we? But yeah, it's just very easy for me to just flip through, pull out the die set that I need, and when I'm done, it can go right back. Everything stays nice and neat. I love these. All right, let's move down a little bit more. And you see I've used another one of these containers for my embossing folders. I'm going to tilt this up. Whoops. Let me tilt that up so you can see. But look at this. I have 2 of the small storage containers inside because that'll hold these different size embossing folders. And that worked really well. It met my embossing folders. The different sizes weren't all getting mixed in. I loved how that worked. It worked really, really well. Again, it's just very easy for me to just flip through, find what I need. This last one is what I mentioned to you, that this has all my embossing plates, my cutting plates. That's my die brush. and some extra, because we always need extra cutting plates on hand, right? Don't ever run out of those. We like to have that. And yeah, so that can just go all across my shelf. Again, remember what I said, it gave it height and gives me a little more room to put things under here, whether that's just, some scrap cardstock, whatever. It's just nice to have this space here underneath. All right, this is the last area of my stamp room I wanted to show you. This is my closet. You can see that it kind of wraps around there onto the side. And I really loved how this one turned out. I believe I have 7 shelves total in here. Yvonne did the design for this as well. And it was just a really great space. I did not go fancy. I went with just really basic Elfa storage in here. I didn't have to do all the fancy nice stuff because it is just a closet. So now you might be asking, but how much did all that cost? Well, I got to tell you, it was actually surprisingly more affordable than what we anticipated when we went in. So I want to say when we met with Yvonne and she did the initial design draft for us, there was no charge for that. So that gave us a chance to say, here's what we're wanting. What kind of price point are we even looking at? Because we had no idea. And when she gave us the amount, my eyes popped because it was under $4,000. And let me tell you what that was for, because that's not everything. We kind of did this in pieces. But it was $4,000 for that great big long wall. You remember the great big long wall? The 3 sets of drawers, all the shelves on that wall. That was my paper storage desk, both sides of that. And of course, that shelf there in the middle. And then the long wall of shelves. Okay. So that's what we started with. When we designed, we came back and did the closet a little bit later. We did this peg wall a little bit later. But yeah, I just thought, for first of all, a room this size, I was very blessed in this new house to have such a large room. Do I need this much space? No, but that's just the size of the room that we had. So everything is very spread out. If this room was not that big, I would have been fine. I could have condensed a lot of this, if you know what I mean. And but that was something that to be able to redesign a brand new craft space for me, including a desk, and being able to do that for under $4,000, that was just perfect for me. I know that's not everybody's budget, but I also know this is not the size room that everyone will have. The other great thing with the Container Store, you could do this in bits and pieces. Let's say you want to just do just a stamping desk with some drawers and some shelves to put maybe your ink pads and your stamps on. Start with that. And then they can always add on later. So it really is a great way to be able to create a space and do it in a way that works with your budget. I do also want to mention that that price didn't include when I purchased all the containers to store everything in. That was also a separate purchase. So that price was just for all the furniture itself. The other thing I want to mention too, the Container Store does many times have sales on their Elfa furniture. We happened to go when it was on sale. So that under $4,000, that was before it was on sale. So we were very blessed to get an additional discount on top of that. Watch the Container Store website or sign up for their newsletter so that you'll find out when Elfa is on sale. From what I understand, I think they do it at least 2 or 3 times a year, and it lasts for probably about a month or so. So definitely worth checking out. Get yourself kind of prepared and ready, and that way when it goes on sale, that's going to be your time to jump on it. Now, I just want to end and share one more piece of information with you. And I'm sure many of you are asking, how hard was it to install? All right, so here we're just going to get real for a second. So my husband is pretty handy with this kind of stuff. And so we did our own installation. Not difficult at all if you feel like you've got the experience. There were some tips and tricks that we learned along the way, and there are a lot of videos out there for Elfa storage systems that I would recommend that you watch before you go and install it yourself. They were really helpful to Mr. Awesome as he put the room together. Now, Container Store also offers a service where they will install it for you. If you're just not real handy with this kind of stuff, you might want to take advantage of that. These tracks that the shelves and all go on, they go all the way up to the ceiling, and they've got to be set just right. They've got to be straight. They've, you can't let, when you're trying to put pegs together, they have to be just the right way. So if you're just not real confident, you might want to go ahead and let the Container Store do the installation for you. But because my husband had built my IKEA craft room before, he felt pretty confident and he did a really great job. So I'll kind of leave that there and let you decide. But really, I just can't say enough about how happy I am in the space. It has been a marvelous creative space. I feel joy when I'm in this room. And I think that's what's key, is having a space where I feel organized, where I feel like I have room to move and create. It really has been a fantastic experience. And I can't say enough about the Container Store and how awesome they were to work with as well. So there you go, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next week. I'm going to do my top 10 tips on organizing, and I don't think you're going to want to miss it. So we'll see you guys on that video. Take care. Bye-bye.